Reddit by Reddit recap. What's the weirdest thing you've ever had to do naked? NSFW. Made bacon. Never again. My husband has a big scar on his chest. When he was 12, he was frying egg rolls with no shirt on. He sloshed hot oil on himself. His skin bubbled up and hurt for a bit, then turned black and he couldn't really feel it anymore. So he went back to playing Nintendo. His dad got home and freaked the duck out and rushed him to the hospital. He now tells people his scars are from fighting tigers as a child prince in Asia. That's ducking badass. Not me but my mom. Giving birth to my little sister. Baby's head is stuck. The nurse tells her to get on all fours in the bed. She does. Then they roll her to the surgery room down the hallways of the hospital naked. On all fours. With a head hanging out her twat. People were staring. Waited 5 hours for a locksmith. The clever naked man breaks a window and waits 5 hours inside the house for a glazier. Since having to memorize the word glazier for my 5th grade vocabulary tests, this is literally the first time I've seen it used in a non-contrived sentence. When I was a senior in high school, I played the rite of passage game of senior tag. For those who don't know, teams of typically 5 high school seniors get together on a team with super suckers and are pitted against another team for a week. The team at the end of the week with the fewest players sprayed out advances to the next round in a tournament-style recreation of immaturity. Good times. One of the rules was that you couldn't shoot or be shot out of the game while naked. You were fair game outside and I had to make it to my car to go to school. As I was prepared to leave, I looked up at our CCTV screen. Yes, I had a camera outside my garage door to see if anyone was around my car. I look at the monitor to see 2 hot girls holding super suckers crouched behind my car. I then went into my garage, disrobed, holding only a shirt in front of my stuff, opened the garage door, and went on to glory. I shot one girl completely by surprise, and then dropped my shirt, thus making me unshootable. The other, who I had no time to shoot, stood there in disbelief that their plan to get me had failed. There I stood with a super sucker, screaming a victory scream at the top of my lungs on a cold May morning. Completely naked. TLDR. I shot 2 hot girls with a super sucker while naked in my front yard. What a coincidence. I also call my penis the super sucker. Broke my femur a while back and was on morphine for the pain. Morphine has a tendency to make you very constipated. Because of the leg break and surgery, I had lost a lot of blood, so every time I sat up there was a good chance of me passing out. After 6 days of not pooping, 5 nurses came into my room. I was like, "Hi. What's going on?" And they told me that they were here to help me go to the bathroom. So one of the nurses hands me a pill. You would think that the pill would take some time to get through your system, but as soon as I swallowed, my tummy made a noise like Chewbacca. It was then that 5 nurses held me upright as I sat naked taking a 6-day dump in front of them. Oh god, the morphine shit. I shat out something the size and shape of a morning star after my jaw reconstruction. Fortunately, I got to do so in private. I was in a car wreck where my mouth was also wired shut. I was in the hospital for 7 days hooked up to a morphine drip, and on day 2 or 3 of being home I realized I hadn't shit in over a week. I expected the worst. Perhaps something like your morning star. But my first dump was no different than if I had taken my morning testimonial the previous day. Crisis averted. When I was 21, I went to go visit my sister and her husband in Utah. They were Mormon at the time, but they had recently become friends with some swingers and naturalists, read nudists. They invited me to go to someone's house for a hot tub party, and they warned me ahead of time that people there would be nude. They also told me most of the people there were Mormon naturalists. Yes, this apparently exists. Anyway, I got there and everyone was naked, but just sitting around doing normal party stuff. Watching a movie, playing cards, but no drinking. They are Mormon, after all. So, I strip down, wrap a towel around myself and head to the hot tub. I had been to a few nude beaches the previous summer and swam nude. so I was no rook. But this situation was still a little awkward. After the hot tub, I'm hanging indoors, still naked. And here is where things got strange. Everyone decides we are going to play a game. I instantly become worried I'm going to get wrapped up in some strange sex thing, especially being a young female. But no. We played some kind of mystery game where someone is the detective and someone is the criminal and you have to guess who it is. It was a game I remembered playing at some church activity when I was a teenager and still Mormon. Definitely the strangest thing I have ever done naked. Edit. Naturist. Not naturalist. : I believe you're talking about Mafia. Specifically Naked Mormon Mafia. My favorite version. In the Air Force we were told to strip during a field exercise. Then we headed out to an obstacle course which due to heavy rain had become a muddy hellhole. We were told to pick up large logs and we had to run them through the obstacle course. Double time. Naked. In the rain. I've never before nor ever after seen muddy dongs bounce up and down in perfect unison, nor do I ever wish to do so again. Anyways, after the run we went straight for our gear. Seeing as it was ducking cold, a fraction of a second before I can grab my stuff the Sarge comes running like a bat out of hell, screaming to get into formation. We do. Standing abso-duckingly naked on a muddy field with 49 other dudes, stiff as a pole, for near half an hour. I never really understood the point of that exercise. Ninja edit. I just realized my horrible wording and feel a need to specify. Not an erection in sight. Bet if you checked your commanding officer you might have found that elusive erection. The military does some surprisingly gay shit considering they have been against homosexuality until very recently. Posed for art school. One time in university I said I could do that for money, but I forgot about it since it was in a random conversation. A month later a guy starts calling me if I had time to do some modeling. Turns out a friend posted my number in the arts department and the caller was their coordinator or manager or something. So after a month of trying to find a time slot for me, the art class lectures and mine didn't fit. Or so. So he kept calling me twice a week if I had time. Annoying. The first painting to be done was supposed to be high class or something. The most demanding of the students and the models. Turned out there was another guy too. And we had to do a wrestling pose. Naked. In addition to being naked for the first time in front of 8 people, I had to be in a really straining position with my arms around another dude. Sweaty. This could be the worst time for one of those random boners. Or quite possibly the best. Similar story to the OP. Kinda. Was having sex with an ex-girlfriend. We were on bad terms but we both considered each other as grade A ducks so we'd booty call one another when life got stressful. We were both single at the time so it was a mutual deal. She recently adopted a kitten. So we're going at it for a good long while when I feel the kitten jump onto the bed and climb up on my back. I have a fairly long ponytail. And the kitten, presumably hypnotized by its bouncing motion, dove upon it and clung on, nom-noming at its base. Now, understand we're both coming up on home stretch. Not the time you want to stop. X hasn't noticed. And it's not hurting me. So I keep right on going. I'm racing to the finish. But it's getting to me. I stifle a giggle. Then another. This perturbs my ex. Who says what? What? I can't entirely blame her for being pissy. Having a lover giggling like a schoolgirl as you're nearing orgasm isn't very helpful. But I'm about to go. And I don't want to ruin it for myself. So I'm not about to explain it. Instead, I swing my head to the side and cause the kitten to perform an Indiana Jones maneuver, effectively striking my ex in the face with a kitten as I climax. Worth it. So, wait, you smacked the girl you were banging in the face with her own kitten. Now that's skill. Back when they still had the draft, yes. I'm old. Every male had to show up at the draft office for a physical exam along with 40 or 50 other guys. Part of the exam involved standing naked in a line of guys, bending over while reaching back to spread your butt cheeks. A doctor then came down the line looking for God knows what. I clearly remember thinking every instinct tells me I shouldn't be doing this. Nobody made eye contact for a while after that. For your information, they still do this when you go into the military. Well, that settles it. No military for me. I had just got out of the shower and realized that I had accidentally left the garage door open. I peek out the little bathroom window and see a guy walking out of the garage with boxes of booze we had just got for a party. I ran out to the garage buck naked, still dripping from the shower, and yelled as loud as I could. It's a busy street. Everyone looks at me. The thief freaks out and starts unloading the booze and putting it back in the garage. He pulls out $100 and says don't call the cops. I refuse. Call the cops and put some pants on. TLDR. Buck naked man foils robbery. Edit. Butt to buck. Again. Nobody ducks with naked dude. It sends a pretty clear message that if you'll waste no time ducking with pants, you mean business. Good to know. If I ever need to foil the robbery, I'll strip first. When I was in college, I met a girl and she came over to my dorm room for some sexy times while my roommate was away for the weekend. Afterwards we fell asleep naked in my loft bed. If you are not familiar with loft beds in college dorms, they are like beds on stilts with just enough room between you and the ceiling to sleep comfortably. I woke up to her hitting me saying I don't feel good. I'm gonna puke. I didn't want her puking all over my bed, so I quickly sat up, hitting my head on the ceiling, and proceeded to jump from my loft to the floor with my balls swinging like mad. I looked around and grabbed the first thing I could find for her to puke in. My garbage can. I held it above my head just as she leaned over the side of the bed to projectile vomit. Only problem was that the garbage can was made of wire mesh and I didn't have a bag in it. So there I stood holding a garbage can over my head, completely naked, covered in vomit, as my roommate walks in, home early for the weekend. That girl is now my wife. And that, kids, is how I met your mother. Best comment of the day. Mine went down as follows. Was staying at a hostel. Turns out it was a mixed room and my roommate was a cute Serbian girl. She asked me to grab dinner with her since she can show me around. She said she came to come back with his ex-BF. A day or two later, we were in our room coming back from dinner. I'm gonna take a shower now, me. Okay. I'll take a shower later to her. Starts undressing in front of me to her see-through leggings and a sleeveless shirt. Me. Tries not to look her. Tries to look at me. Trying to focus on the phone and not look at her cause I know I won't be able to stop after her. Goes into the shower. I didn't follow her and nothing happened after. I was dying of anxiety. She did kiss me before we went our separate ways though.